finding equivalent fractions and comparing with adamonlinetutoring. Here are the beginner questions, some of the easiest types of questions that you're likely to find on this topic. Complete these equivalent fractions. Equivalent fractions have the same value even though they may look different and have different numbers for the numerator and denominator. We can find equivalent fractions by dividing common factors from the numerator and denominator. Dividing and making the numbers smaller is called simplifying and was covered in the previous video. It's also possible to find equivalent fractions by multiplying the numerator and denominator by a common number. For the first example, we can see that the numerator has changed from 2 to 8. This means that we must have multiplied by 4, and you can find an equivalent fraction, in this case by multiplying the denominator by 4 as well. So 5 times 4 is 20, so 2/5 is equal to 8 over 20. For the next question, we can use the fact that 3 has changed to 6, which is multiplying by 2. Multiplying by the same on the numerator is 2 multiplied by 2, which is 4. Now I can use the fact that 4 has been multiplied by 2 again to give me 8. So multiplying the 6 by 2 gives me 12. On to the intermediate questions. With a slight increase in difficulty, we need to write whether one fraction is less than another fraction or whether it's greater than another fraction. The easiest way to compare fractions and determine which is larger is to find and use equivalent fractions to make the denominators the same. 14 is a multiple of 7, so I can change the 7 into a denominator of 14 quite easily by multiplying by 2. Repeat the process for the numerator to find its equivalent fraction. 3 times 2 is 6. Now I can see when both fractions have a common denominator of 14, it makes it easier to see which one is the smallest or the largest by looking at the numerators. 6 over 14 is larger than 5 over 14, so therefore 3/7 is larger than 5 over 14. For the next question, I won't be able to multiply 3 to get to 5 or vice versa. Instead, I'll need to find a common denominator. The question will be easier if we can find the lowest common denominator. In this case, the lowest common multiple of 3 and 5 would be 15. To get from 3 to 15, I'm multiplying by 5, so the equivalent fraction would be 2 multiplied by 5, which is 10. For the second fraction, I can multiply 5 by 3 to give me 15, meaning 3 times 3 will give me the numerator of the equivalent fraction. Now I can see that 10 over 15 is larger than 9 over 15, so therefore 2/3 is larger than 3/5. On to the advanced question, one of the more difficult questions that you are likely to find on this topic. Writing these fractions in order of size, starting with the smallest. This can be done in the same way that we completed the intermediate questions by comparing fractions. So first, we will find equivalent fractions where we have a common denominator between 3, 5 and 4. The lowest common denominator, or the lowest common multiple of these three numbers, will be 60. We can get from 3 to 60 by multiplying by 20. Repeating this for the numerator is 2 lots of 20, which is 40. For the second fraction, we can multiply 5 by 12 to give me 60, and 3 times 12 is 36. And for the last, we can get from 4 to 60 by multiplying by 15. 3 lots of 15 is 45. Now we can see the equivalent fractions with a common denominator. We should be able to write these in order of size a lot easier. Remember, we're starting with the smallest, which would be 36 over 60. But when writing our answer, we'll make sure that we use the original fraction that was stated in the question. So the first would be 3 over 5. The next would be 40 over 60, which was originally 2/3. And the last is 45 over 60, which was originally 3/4. Here's a question I've completed. It appears as though I've made some mistakes. Pause the video, find them, and either tell me what they are or write some corrections in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you found that video useful, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment. If you're struggling with topics or finding maths difficult, subscribe and turn on notifications to receive regular updates about new video tutorials and other useful content. You can visit and follow all of my socials by clicking the links in the description below.